A majority of bosses want employees back in the office full-time. A new survey from Fiverr found that 52% of employers want their workers back in person 5 days a week. But 42% of workers say they would consider quitting if that were the case. Fiverr CEO Micha Kaufman joins us now. Fiverr, by the way, a platform for freelance workers. Micha, it's good to see you. So there's obviously tension here, right? There is this ongoing tension in the market. How do you think it ends up resolving itself?
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show again. We're definitely seeing a very polarized view between managers and employees. And I think that if there's something very clear is that managers want this to be 2019 again, and employees cannot move back from having the experience of the past 2 or 3 years and wanting to have more flexibility into the work. I think that some of that is going to be resolved by the fact that those employees are actually going to leave. And I think in order to receive that level of flexibility, a lot of them are actually going to turn into freelancing, which allows them to define the level of flexibility that they're looking for.
Okay, so that kind of answers or begins to answer my next question, at least, which is where would they go if they did leave? There are still, for a lot of the companies that are either in a hybrid or purely virtual reality for their workplace and collaboration, there's still some of the hiring freezes that are in place, some places looking at cutting or trimming their staff. So where would the opportunities be to still retain that virtual lifestyle, even if going to or looking for other employment opportunities?
That's correct. I think that a lot of companies, those who are freezing or rethinking the way they want to employ talent, are really making a shift between fixed expenses and variable expenses. And when you think about variable expenses, a lot of it is being answered by freelancers. So a lot of the talent that are going to continue looking for that level of flexibility are going to turn into freelancing. And we're seeing very high levels of talent coming to us, to Fiverr and similar platforms to look for that level of flexibility.
So Micha, does that mean a recession would mean just a hiring boom for freelancers?
I think that at some point, yes, because again, I think that more and more companies are thinking about the shift between fixed and variable expenses. So obviously that is going to fuel. If you go back to the wake of the previous recession, right around 2009, we saw a boom in freelancing. We saw a boom in new business formation. A lot of these businesses cannot actually afford full-time employees, so they turn into platforms such as Fiverr to find this talent.
Micha, at the same time, we've got now this proposal, although it's sort of vague, on the part of the Biden administration to reclassify workers, which there's some thinking that it might eventually make some workers who are classified as freelance be forced to come on the books full-time. Any thoughts on that, or the likelihood of that happening and the effect that could have on your business?
Yeah, I think that with the fact that freelancing is becoming a huge force in the workplace, statistics show that by the end of this decade, by 2030, 50% of talent is going to be engaging in freelancing in some form or the other. Policymakers are trying to figure out what to do with this huge cohort. And I think that in this space, we need to make a distinction between skilled and unskilled labor. So if you look at Fiverr as an example, on Fiverr, freelancers have total freedom regarding their work, what they offer, when they offer it, and from where. So that level of freedom is something that is highly sought for, but it also comes with a price. I mean, you can't lead a totally free lifestyle and then expect to be considered to be a full-time employee. In other aspects of gig economy, maybe the situation is slightly different because they have less freedom on what they offer and how much they charge for it. This has been in the making for quite a long time, and we're actually working closely with policymakers to figure out how the level of how we can level the playing field for freelancers in aspects such as access to affordable medical insurance. But that said, as I said, if you want to lead the lifestyle that allows you total freedom, you can't also expect to be considered as a full-time employee when you're not.
Micha, just while we have you, over the past recessions where the gig economy roles have been available, we've seen this flow into some of the roles for freelancers or even just workers who are looking to kind of take their own employment under their own control. For your business at Fiverr, given some of the investments that you've made into the business to try and unlock these larger projects, more engagement, what, from the Fiverr perspective, would you be kind of looking towards to really navigate a recession as well yourself as a business?
Yeah. So I think that a lot of businesses, we've talked about fixed versus variable expenses. I think that a lot of businesses are actually focusing on identifying their core competencies and hiring full-time around those core competencies and looking for the more peripheral areas of expertise and turning into freelancers around those types of expertise. And that could be, if your core is technology, maybe something that is not in your core is going to be marketing or design, and in which cases they start to think about how to integrate freelancers into their workflows. And this is why we've seen the appearance of the chief freelancer officer, which is a new role within companies, within HR, that thinks about how to integrate that level of talent into organizations. We're seeing that rising throughout the past few years, and this is accelerating right now.
Micha, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Micha Kaufman, who is Fiverr CEO. Appreciate it.
For having me. Thank you.